in which she used the N word. Okay. All right. Order in the court, right? You guys, I don't even know. The context of the video actually doesn't look to be that old. So I really don't have too much on this story in terms of, because I don't know how old this video is. I don't know exactly where it came from. I don't know too much. I feel like I don't have enough information to really form an opinion, especially that of a negative opinion about Doja. But I see that the girls are wanting to cancel her. So here's what I'll say. I think that this comes at a very peculiar time, as Doja Cat and Nicki Minaj just took the #1 spot on Billboard last week, as well as Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion taking the #2 spot, which is a record-breaking occurrence where Black women collaborated for songs and took the #1 and #2 spot. Do I think that even though it comes at a peculiar time, do I think that it is a setup? I don't know. I mean, if there's nothing to set up, then we won't be here. You know what I mean? So this obviously comes from a place. Is it a place of just her joking around, or is it a place of her being serious? Now, Doja is the product of an interracial relationship. Her mother is white. Her dad is a famed Broadway actor who is African. She has admitted herself that she hasn't had a really great relationship with her dad. She's not really close with him, doesn't really know him that well. So the only thing that I can say is, you know, I don't know. She's being quiet at this time, which, you know, a lot of times people think that silence is not an answer, but silence is an answer. I don't know what she's trying to give with that silence. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, you know. I like Doja Cat. I hate that this is happening to her, but I also know that, like, being Black is a heavy burden to bear. And maybe that's not her thing. And if it's not her thing, and we're saying that we don't want to support her as she does, you know, music that is seemingly targeted towards the African American community, then that's fine. But, like, I don't know if it's time to cancel her just yet before we know exactly what is going on. So I know you guys caught the versus battle yesterday with Jamaican heavyweights DJ Beanie Man and the Doctor and the warlord himself, Bounty, the big bad bounty killer. This was a record-breaking event for the Versus crew. This happened last night. On Versus Live. So, you know, I know that there was nearly 500,000 people in there, and I am so proud of my heritage, and I am so proud of, you know, last night's Versus battle. And shout out to everybody who participated and listened. And even if you didn't understand what was happening, you just came and had a good time. And you know what? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. You know, I was starting to get sick of the Versus because, like, I don't know. I thought that the sound quality was great last night. I thought that the showmanship between the fellas was awesome. Shout out to the police who came to try to shut that shit down and were seemingly unsuccessful. Shout out to everybody who just supported and watched last night. And I hope everybody had a great time, because I know I did. Let's see. What else can we get into before we move on here? Oh, wait, you guys. Can someone explain to me what's the deal with your homeboy Joe Biden? Anybody? Anybody got any words of wisdom for me to help me understand what's going on? Well, Joe Biden this week had an awkward, can we call it awkward? Here's the thing. I respect Charlemagne the God as a radio personality. I do not really get into Charlemagne as a prominent interviewer. Because to be honest with you, I actually think Joe Biden is a better interviewer than Charlemagne. And the reason why I say that is I think that Charlemagne has skewed to try to present as someone who is perhaps more informed at this point, or, more serious. Let me say more serious. Perhaps more informed is not the right word. Someone who is more serious and doesn't take the plight of people's sexuality or gender as an opportunity to mock them. But, listen, anyways. So Charlemagne had a radio interview with Joe Biden, and got into an exchange, if you will, over the support among Black voters and, choosing a potential running mate. Now, when Charlemagne pressed Joe Biden on considering Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar as his running mate, Biden said multiple Black women were being considered. Biden went on to say that if someone doesn't understand the difference between, if a Black person doesn't understand the difference between voting for him versus voting for Trump, then they ain't Black. His words, not mine. They ain't Black. I think that this is the reason why that very comment and whatever, because nothing that happened after that comment has made newsreels. No one really cares. Everything that led up to that comment is the reason why I would have liked if perhaps it wasn't a Charlemagne. I understand that what they were trying to do was reach out to someone who was of the culture, who speaks to a specific demographic. And if they believe that Charlemagne is the one that speaks to even the 18 to 23 year old crowd, I would beg to differ. I think that they see him as an OG, but I don't think that that's who they listening to, especially sociopolitically. I don't think that anybody 23 to I don't know, 30 or 30 to 37. I don't necessarily know that. I think that there are segments of those people who may be listening to Charlemagne, but I think that, that's not somebody that I'm listening to get to digest my political news. And I think that the real question to a candidate like Biden, because dig the thing, right? Here's the thing. Politics is one of the only jobs that you can be interviewed for where it is not about what you've done in the past. It really isn't, your record could be wiped out, Now, if I go on a job interview, what sets me apart from other candidates is what I've done in the past. My experience is my trajectory in my professional life. In politics, however, you get to speak to what the other candidate can't do and also what you could possibly do in the future. And that is your interview. And I think that it is imperative that people start to talk less about what candidates can do historically what they can do in the future, and allowing them to talk about the other candidate, and that's their job interview. I think we have to press them. We have to press them about what is their past political professional decisions, and how will that play a role into what the future looks like in terms of how they will meet the needs of the job when it comes to the Black community. Too oftentimes I think we are allowing political candidates to, kind of, it's almost like a boxer, kind of flutter their way around the boxing ring without actually landing anything. Joe Biden shouldn't be able to say that if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black. Nigga, if you don't do for me, you ain't my next president. You think that because my choices are the lesser of two evils, I should choose you. And I think that that's why we have to continue to be cognizant. Yes, Donald Trump flubbed Corona. But I haven't heard Joe Biden say anything about what he would have done differently. I really don't. This is an excellent opportunity for the next person to say, hey, this is what needs to be happening, and really be a loud voice out there. What I would have liked to see more of was my supposed presidential candidate, the person who wants to be the next president, take a presidential stance during this time. Lead us. Leadership is not just the title. Leadership embodies a role. And I'm sorry, I don't think that Joe Biden stood out as a leader during this time. Just my opinion. And here's what's even best to boot. Do you know that the Trump campaign is actually selling t-shirts that say, you ain't Black, after Joe Biden's comment? So they're basically using what Joe Biden said to make more money, which is wild to me. It is wild. It is absolutely wild. Oh my God. What else, you guys? What else can we talk about? I feel like I don't know that there's anything else that I'm missing. Oh, wait a minute. So you guys, have we gotten into any new music yet? Okay. So new music talk, right? There's a bunch of new things out, and I'm not sure if you guys have gotten into it, but Gunna has a new album out. Don't Make Up Your Face. Are you guys into Russ? Get into Russ if you will. Okay, get into Russ if you will, because he's actually super dope and makes super dope music. And I really like him as an artist for sure. So get into Russ. And let's see, who else? I don't know if you guys know this, but Mariah Carey has re-released Glitter. Put that one in your car, pop, pipe, and smoke it. And I think the only other thing, am I missing anything as far as new music? I'm not really into Jacob Lattimore, so whatever. I think that's it, right? All right. Let's go ahead. Let's take a quick break, and then let us come back and set the table. All right. And we are back. So if you follow this show, then you know what time it is. Every week we set the table, and we try to set the table for not just the moment or the week or the day, but just for our lives to become more conscious, to be more present, to have a deeper and more profound understanding of life circumstances, situations, emotional, mental issues, anything. So I wanted to set the table for a topic that we touched on earlier, which was I, asked whether or not, you could accept back your ex. And I think I talked about how, that's actually something